Right team, welcome back. Camping in the rain. Yeah, so the last couple of weeks or so, down in the southeast here in Essex, we've had a record-breaking heat wave. So it's been really hot, really humid, really dry, and today it's really hot, really humid, and really wet. Nah, it's not been too bad actually. I think the rain's meant to stop in a little bit. It wouldn't be such an issue. Oh mate, just going to my local campsite, but I've got to ride into the town beyond it to sign some solicitor's divorce paperwork. I've printed off, scanned, emailed this paperwork twice. First time it was the wrong format, apparently. The second time I didn't sign a part I needed to, so I've given up and said I'll just come in and do it. So I'm killing two birds with the one stone here, if you like. Yeah, and it's that sort of weather where it's so humid there's no point even putting on your waterproofs, because you'll just get soaked in sweat, so you might as well just be soaked in rain. I'm coming to a wedding up here in a couple of days or so. Shout out to big Matt and Courtney, who work with Matt. So Matt's getting married here and I'm on the way to sign my divorce paperwork. It makes sense. I think it's just up there, I'll have to have a look. Do you ever notice how divorce solicitors always seem to be female? I know I shouldn't stereotype, but I'm sure there are a few blokes out there doing it, but yeah, anyway. Well, that's another job off the list. Hopefully that's it. I mean, I've been saying this now for the last year, but I mean, one of these days I'll be opening up a video and saying I'm done, that's it, it's all officially divorced and house is now mine. But I don't know. I mean, I consider myself pretty resilient. I've been through a fair share of shit, should we say, in my life, and I consider myself quite stoical and just get on with it. That's what else can you do? But God, it is a totally draining procedure, and this isn't even like a contested divorce. This is a one where we just agree on splitting everything 50-50 and that's it. God knows what it'd be like if it was one that we were at each other's throats. And then ultimately no one wins anyway, so you might as well just cut your losses and that's it. But I mean, I really think a divorce procedure in this country really does need a serious overhaul. It's so like long, drawn out. It doesn't help anyone. You apply for your divorce, or one of them applies, so in this case it was Carrie. I obviously didn't go, yeah, jump over the moon about it, but anyway, there's no point flogging a dead horse or fighting a lost causes. She has to then submit the paperwork through a solicitor, saying that she's the applicant to the divorce, I'm the respondent. So she does that, her solicitor sends me the paperwork. At that point then I had to get a solicitor. They do all the paperwork and then you've got to wait 20 weeks, which is about almost half a year, but in reality it's longer than that, because it takes probably 1 or 2 months for the initial ball to get rolling, and then it has to go in front of a judge for them to say, yeah, okay, I agree, start the 20 weeks, which takes another month or so, and then at the end of the 20 weeks it has to go back in front of a judge for him to say, okay, yeah, now these two sensible, mature people can proceed with what they want to do. So it's only then, when that's done, you can, if you want to, like what we're doing is just I'm buying her out of the house basically, and if you want if there's property involved or pensions or financial thing, you have to do a financial settlement as well, which is just even more paperwork. The only people that win out of it is the solicitors. You know, everybody, I know they've all got a job to do and everybody's got a living and a crust to earn, but it should not need to be this complicated and lengthy. Anyway, that's enough of moaning about divorces. It's almost beer o'clock, gentlemen and ladies. I hope this rain does stop. Rain's properly coming down. Although underneath these trees it's nice and dry. So I'm just trying to work out which couple of trees are going to be best. So I've got this big chestnut tree here, but I've got to think as well, do I need to put a tarp up? Do you know what, I probably don't, because it's so sheltered in here and I think it is going to dry up, but I don't know whether just to put the tarp up anyway for the purposes of the video really. I've got this here and that, but I don't know if that's going to be wide enough apart. Or to use this fir tree across. In the end, I just decided to go with that big chestnut tree and whatever that is, a little chestnut tree. And it's, yeah, the thing that when you're putting up a hammock, I've learned the hard way, is you always want to put it up so it's straight, not on a U shape or a V shape, like what it'll turn into when you're sleeping in it, because basically when you get into it, if it's got a dip in the middle, it will fold you in half almost. So put it up as if you're putting up something rigid. Also, you want to go a little bit higher than what you think where it is at the minute. It looks a nice height, but when you put your weight into it, you're only a few inches above the ground. I mean, that's what I'm quite happy with, to be honest. There's no point breaking your neck trying to get in and out of it. I don't think I'm going to bother putting up a tarp, to be honest, folks. You know, it's so sheltered under here. I'm not getting any drips on me at all, and it is due to stop raining. So I think I'll just leave it as it is for a bit, and then because the museum's still open, I think I'll just leave it there. I'll not put my sleeping bag out or anything just yet. I've got a bit of wood prep to do as well, but I'll leave it till everyone's gone as well. I suppose nothing for it really, I'll learn to have a beer. That you can hear behind me is that they've got a little miniature steam train taking the kiddies around the museum on. You might hear the crossing alarm go off as well. I'm having a bit of a mare actually. I've just realised I've forgotten my table. I mean, I could go home and get it, but I don't think I need it, to be honest. I've just got quite a simple dinner to cook tonight. I've also forgot a second tripod as well. My head's just mashed at the minute with everything. Yeah. Oh well. So I've seen a lot of folks recently on social media asking about riding kit, what's best for the summer, because a lot of them I think have been struggling in the heat with their heavy duty leather and textile jackets. So I got this a few years ago, and this is a riding shirt by Reveille, and you probably won't see it in the camera, but it's actually like a mesh material, and it's, I don't know what sort of plastic it is, say plastic, man-made material, but because it's a mesh, it's really good for airflow. Also, on a day like today as well, it's really warm, but it's also wet. Because it's man-made, it doesn't hold the water the way leather would get a bit soggy. So it is really good shirt. It's also got a lining which I think is either Kevlar or Aramid, I'm not sure, whatever one of the protective linings that you can get. And it's obviously got the armour. So with armour, what I do is I always replace the armour with the highest sort of armour, whatever it is, and also low profile armour. Like your, what do you call that, ghost armour, is it D30 I think it's called. It's well worth buying it. It is expensive, but when you wear it, you don't even realise you're wearing armour, because it's so low profile. I can't tell at the minute, but I'm sure somewhere in the world the sun's past the yard arm, so you know what that means. This exciting episode, I've just brought the same peers as I brought for the last camp. Yeah, no thought or diversity went into that decision at all. I just like them. So I've got a couple of punks, and I've got a Hazy Jane, I think so, and I've got a couple of those pear ciders I had in the last one. So, I mean, it's probably not the done thing with kids visiting next door, having a beer, but going beyond the point of caring, really. Cheers. Yeah, best part of the camp. Beer in the rain. So, I suppose I better address what the thumbnail's all about. If you watch my videos, you'll know that I go to bike rallies quite a lot. Even before I started videoing or vlogging. So this rally, I rode 100 miles to get to it. Friday afternoon, M25 traffic around London. Nightmare. Scorching hot. So I got there, and as soon as I got there I realised very quickly that it was, and it hadn't been advertised this, but it was one of these, very much a support rally for one of the big backpatch clubs. I have nothing against that. If that's your thing, that's your thing, but it's not mine. And I would, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have gone. I went over to ask if I could put my drone up tomorrow, main day, hopefully, when everyone's about. And the organiser, she told me no, because there'll be certain people here who wouldn't like to be filmed. Certain people. And then she went on to say it was the president of a certain backpatch club. Now, I didn't know this was going to be a supporting rally, if you like. It said nothing on the flyer, nothing on the advertisement. I always ask permission if I can put my drone up, and absolutely every time I've done it before, there hasn't been a problem. In fact, every time before I've done it, the organisers of the club have asked could I give them the footage, because they want to use it for their marketing and the future rallies and things. And yeah, fine, brilliant, that's what I do it for. But on this occasion, I was told I could put it up now, which I've just done, so about 4 o'clock on the Friday, but tomorrow there was certain people turning up who wouldn't want to be filmed. Now, before anyone goes, yeah, Jesus, that's exactly right. 3 weeks ago I was at a rally and the same club were there, and they had a stall set up,
and I asked permission to put the drone up, and the club that was organised at the prison said absolutely. We actually asked if we could share the footage, which had done, put it on their thing. So I do what I'm told because it's the rally, but I just wish, if you are organising a rally, I just wish you'd stipulate these things on it. The other thing is, I mean, obviously I don't have a dog anymore, but this was a rally that I never came to in the past because it said no dogs. I've just seen a bloke walking a dog around. It's like, you know, I come to these rallies to get away from politics and rules and things, and unfortunately it seems to be some people just want to include things like that into it. So, but anyway, I got some footage on the drone. I'm not going to make a big song and dance about it. Yeah, what's the point? You know, you come here to chill out and enjoy yourself. I just like making the videos, and then people can watch them, enjoy them. You know, they're for my memories as much as other people. The thing that gets me is, some people wouldn't like to be filmed. So what are they going to go round and do tomorrow? Seize everybody's mobile phone? Everybody that's taking footage on their phone or taking a photo or a selfie? Nah, of course not. I think some people just like to make up these rules as they go along. So anyway, we'll see. Just wish it was made clear at the start, you know, or on the advertisement of the rally what you were coming to. You know, I had no idea this was a support rally. You know, I'm no interest in politics, whether it be mainstream politics or bike world politics. I have no interest whatsoever. You know, fair play if you want to, if that's your thing, then crack on. You know, I that's why I don't wear like certain patches on my thing. The only patches I wear on my cut are my rally patches, which are good because a lot of places I've been to, I've seen other people's rally patches and then searched and found the rally they went to and thought, I'll give that a go. And also any of my old friends that have passed away, I've got their in memory of patches, but I don't wear patches that, should I say, be political. Anyway, enough said. And they said, oh right, okay, yeah, well, yeah, you can put your drone up tonight then, because the president won't be there, but you're not to do it tomorrow, drone. And I said, okay. I says, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll just take some respectful video. I'll not include people in it who don't want to be included. And they were like, okay. And then they said, as I was going, I said, if you wait a couple of hours, there'll be more people here, so you'll get more footage in your drone. So it's a bit mixed signals. Anyway, I just thought I'll just go and put the drone up now and got some footage and that was fine. Right, so just to update you on what's happening, after yesterday I got told I couldn't put the drone up on Saturday. That's fine. I put it up on Friday night, as they said, Friday evening, and so I've been walking around with my camera just as I normally do at these rallies, walk around, get a bit of footage, and I've been told off by one of the organisers, you've been told not to do that. So, and I've just seen another guy walking around with a selfie stick videoing and blogging and talking. So it seems to be rules are being made up as and when, so I'm not playing. I'm going to go, guys. I won't be coming back to this rally. Do you know what? I could have argued, could have said 3 weeks earlier I was at another rally with the same club and I was told it was absolutely fine to video, so, but then I just thought, what's the point? They're just making up these rules as they go along. It's almost like it's, you know, a power play sort of thing with them. You know, it's always someone else will be upset, you know, so don't do it. So, you know, and I just thought, nah. So that was it. So at that point I just decided, nah, I'm not staying here. It's not a nice atmosphere. So I went back and I packed up. The other thing that annoyed me about that rally, and there's now been a couple of rallies like this, where they want you to buy their own beer while you're there. The last one I was at before that, it was £4 for a pint of beer. You know, it's warm beer, you know, from a cask in a marquee. But you know, when in Rome, you know what I mean. You just do what you do. So they didn't want you paying cash at the bar. They wanted you to buy like a card. It's like a bingo card, and then every time you have a beer, they cross off like 4 of the the numbers for the pound signs or whatever it is. The last rally was £4 for a pint. So if you bought £20 worth, it came in £10 cards. If you bought 2 cards, you got 5 pints, which is expensive at a rally in my opinion. But anyway, that last one, it was £4.25. So you would always have been left with a little bit extra on your cards. So the only way you could get that extra would have been to keep buying cards, and obviously no matter how many you bought, you'd always be left with a quid or 150, I don't know, whatever. And I think that they planned it like that. So that was a bit of a rip-off in my opinion. So what I did was, when I decided I was going to go, I was talking to the 2 guys actually who pulled up next to me. They were on classic bikes and they were just normal bikers, and they actually said they hadn't been to that rally for 12 years, and they said it was a lot bigger and there was a lot more just normal bikers there. They said it's like less than a third of the bikes that are there now, and also it didn't have that big support element. Before it was more just a mainstream one, so they said that they wouldn't be going back to it after that. So I had quite a few quid's worth left of the beer thing I'd bought the night before, so I just give it to them, and I'm sure they had a few pints on me, which I don't really mind. You know, I did think like I should just throw them away, but then actually they'll be buying beer that's already been paid for, so they would have been getting even more money that rally. So that's a petty level expert. But this is the thing now, I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 years, rallies now have sort of changed. There is a lot more people who are attending who aren't like sort of what I would call bikers or biking community. There's a lot more people who are turning up and bringing a different vibe to these rallies. The first I noticed this was at that trip out a few years ago, and I sort of alluded to it a bit in the video. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but now it is. So at that trip out, it was a big rally. A lot of people came from over Europe for it, and a lot of nice bikes there, like sort of choppers and bobbers and old Harleys like panheads, shovel heads and things. And the bikes were all put in a certain area of the grounds, and everyone was fine. There was no like sort of support element or anything like that, but there was a lot of people who turned up in cars, like sports cars, and a lot of them weren't even classic cars. They were like sort of more modern. Like there was a guy in a Dodge Viper, so a modern American car, and he was strutting around really aggressively, like bumping shoulders and things. And there was another guy who was in a similar sort of car, and on the back he was wearing a t-shirt, on the back in massive letters it had like "fuck police." And you're just like, mate, you're out trying to act the way you think bikers are supposed to be, the way that Hollywood portrays them. Like, who walks around with a big "fuck police" on the back of your thing, and then gets into your taxed and insured car and rides home or drives home so you can go into your job the next day? They're just people being really pretentious, and it just wasn't a nice environment. It wasn't relaxing. I just felt a little bit on edge, and it was the same in that last rally I was at. So I rode home again through M25 traffic on the Saturday morning, but I decided after that, I don't know, I went to a rally which I'd been to before. I didn't video it, and it's good. It was a good rally, nice and chilled out. No, what do you like? None of that support stuff going on. But I don't know. I think now I'm not going to video any of them, because a lot of people were really grateful for me doing it, and then you'll get something like that where they don't care whether you video it or not. All they care about is making up rules. So as I said, it said no dogs, but there were people with dogs there. Then it said you can't bring your own booze into the site. There were people quite openly sat in the beer marquee where the bands are, drinking cans that they brought in themselves. It made me think, well, why are these rules not? Why am I playing by the rules? And because I wasn't wearing the right colour t-shirt, because I didn't have the support patch. That's why they just decided, you know, they're quite happy to take your money, but they don't really care if you have a good time or not. So I decided I wasn't going to play anymore. And that was it. Yeah, I think since COVID, a lot of places like bike rallies are struggling. I think the price of venues has gone up dramatically since COVID, and then vendors as well, like the food stalls and bands and things like that. They've all gone up like in price, so they try to get their money back, so they put up the price of their beer. They have to encourage to make up the numbers to get a return, like not a profit, just to break even. They have to encourage non-bikers to come into the site, so that just leads on to other issues. But I'll tell you what was the most like sort of disappointing thing for that was a MAG associate or affiliated rally. So those that don't know, MAG is the Motorcycle Action Group. If you like, it's a trade union sort of for motorcyclists. It's like just a pressure group, so it lobbies the government on bike theft, congestion charge for bikes, everyone having to buy electric bikes by a certain year sort of thing. If you look on the MAG website, it says they're not affiliated to any sort of political group, they're neutral, they're not that, but yet their logo was right next to all this support stuff. So I won't be. I've been a member of MAG for a few years now, and I've got to be honest, I don't find it do an awful lot for you. You know, they don't really speak on my behalf. You know, I'm sure they think they're doing a good job, but they're short of numbers again. They keep going on about how nobody's attending their AGMs or going to their election nights and things like that. But I won't be renewing my membership of them. You know, I'm not paying to support something like that. You've obviously seen me now for the last year or so. I've been going to the rallies by myself, and I've been okay at them, and I've had a good time. And when you've got videoing to do, it does give you like something to focus on and go around. But when you suddenly, you know, you stop videoing or you decide you're not going to do it anymore, you find that you've nothing to do, and you end up, you sat by your tent. You know, I go up and listen to the music, but even the music I find is gone downhill as well. I go back pre-COVID, some of those rallies have had bands on since from midday, and the different bands playing all the way through to midnight. But now it's like sometimes you only get one band on an evening, and they'll spend half an hour tuning up their instruments, leave them all sitting, disappear for an hour, come back, play for 20 minutes, then have half an hour break, come back and play for another 20 minutes, and then that's the set done. So 40 minutes of music, if that. And quite often that's the only music that you get on an evening. Sometimes you get two bands on an evening, but it's just, I don't know, it just, to me, everything seems to have gone very commercial. They're just playing the minimum to get paid. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just concentrate more on my camping, because if I'm paying to go to a rally, riding hundreds of miles to sit by my tent all weekend, I might as well go somewhere more local, or even go somewhere further away and somewhere where I'll know I'll be able to get on my own thing and video and do whatever. I'll never say never. I'll never say I'll never go back to another rally, but I'm not going to ride hundreds of miles to go somewhere and find that it's a big support thing, because that's not why I'm in bikes. You know, I just not into that. And to me, it's like the whole bully victim circle, the eternal sort of circle of things. They moan about how bikers are all stereotyped and people are prejudiced towards them, and they're not allowed into certain places and that, and so they say everyone's welcome and that, and then you go there and you find it's like that, where it's a really sort of, I would say, toxic, borderline aggressive atmosphere, and then people don't go back again, and then it starts the whole thing of no one likes us, we're everyone hates us because we look different, you know, and you know, I just not into it. Sorry folks for rattling on there. So everyone's left for the day, and the sun's come out, believe it or not. It's a little bit fresher, which is nicer actually as well. So, new fire pit as promised. It's an Amazon special, so I think it was £30. And although I haven't burnt anything in it yet, it actually feels really, really solid. It's a lot heavier than what I expected. I expected it to be very, very lightweight, but it is quite sturdy. So hopefully it'll get a good few uses out of it. So it's one of the collapsible types, which I like because it then sits flat on the bike. You've got your fire grate for underneath, and then you've got your grill for the top. So, as I said, I haven't used it yet. I am going to burn some wood on it tonight. I've brought like some logs from home because there isn't a lot of fuel around here to burn, but I reckon you could also put charcoal on that if needs be. So I'm just going to use some of this wood wool to try and get this going. Right, so as I said, I'm going to grill a couple of chicken breasts tonight. I'm going to actually just do them in tortilla wraps with some lettuce and tomato. What I'd done before I froze these was I butterflied them just to make them easier to cook, which is actually quite handy since I've forgotten my table. So I'm just going to season them with some cayenne pepper. Ideally, you'd probably want to be doing this like overnight, but I'll leave it for half an hour, so I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So just putting the sleeping bag into the hammock there. I've had flashbacks of the last time I used it. I'm fairly certain I ended up getting into the sleeping bag, standing up, and then falling back into the hammock. Yeah, it's definitely something not for the faint of heart. Yeah, we'll see. Probably one of those chicken breasts would have been sufficient, but nah, what the hell, we're on holiday. No doubt I've got this all over my beard, never mind. I'll just throw more logs on, I'm getting all the smoke. Oh. Well, feeling lucky? Do you, punk? remember the first time I tasted that punk IPA. I'd never actually tried it before, and it was while I was a firefighter, and we were on our revalidation course up in where were we, Teesside, and we went into was it Darlington was the local town, and they had it in one of the pubs. They had it on draft. So one of the other guys, he'd tried it before and he liked it, and I thought, I'll give that a bash. Wow, it's like, yeah, it's really, really nice. I haven't seen it on draft, but then to be honest, I don't really go into any pubs anymore. Oh, really nice dinner actually, nice and simple, and that pepper, was it cayenne pepper? A bit more of a sting in the tail than I thought. It was quite nice actually, but it wasn't overpowering. It's just like a nice heat at the end. Yeah, very simple, easy, and reasonably healthy as well. So I'm just gonna sit and chill, I think. I've just seen what I think is an otter. Right, I don't know if you've seen that on camera, because I'll have to zoom in on it and it don't make it very obvious, but it was about that size, long black tail. I'm wondering, was it an otter or was it a mink, because there are a few of them around here. Right guys, it's now, as you can see, it's twilight, which is probably my favourite time of day. It's the sort of time of day when one world closes down, the other world comes awake, so I expect to hear the owls starting up in a not so long. I've just been sat there by the fire, just chilling and watching something on my phone. And unfortunately I didn't have it on camera, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, it's too dark in there. But just along the river, about just chest height, two grey herons flew together along, and then about 30 seconds behind them, a white egret by itself flew along. So they obviously are heading off the roost somewhere, and they use the river for navigation, imagine, because that's obviously what their thing is, isn't it? Their water fowl, or their wading birds. That's they obviously catch fish and things along the river, the shallow water. And then as I just got up there to come out here to do this little bit snippet, I startled a muntjac. It was just standing by my bike. It's literally a few meters away, but I didn't see him because a tree was in the way. So obviously when I've stood up, he's jumped out of his skin. Well, so have I as well. But again, he's done a runner into the bushes. Yeah. Anyway, folks, I'll catch you in the morning. See you then. Night.
morning. It's just gone 4 a.m. and I've decided to call it a night and head home. I'm actually quite cold. I think I should have watched one of my videos from a couple of years ago when I last slept in that hammock. I think you need to put a some sort of insulation under you, like a mattress or that. But then it doesn't help that the temperature has dropped from the heat wave we've been having for the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I slept for a few hours and then something woke me up, and I think something crawled around in the undergrowth really close to me. It was either a hedgehog, a badger, or possibly even that mink. And after that I just didn't really get back to sleep, so lying there sort of seeing it starting to get light, and I thought, you know what, I might as well just pack up and head home because I've got to go to work later. So I may as well try and go home and get a couple of hours in a warm bed, should we say. So yeah, nothing wrong with the setup. It was just I've got to say, I'm not a big fan of hammock camping. I find it more hassle than what it's worth for all that faffing around of getting in and getting out. And whoa, that's something I didn't expect to see at this time of morning. An Arctic coming up this road. Whoa. Yeah, I was saying hammock camping. I just I find it should be quite a simple thing, but it never seems to be for me. You got to put it low enough to the ground to get in, be able to get into it. But then the problem is, I think with that one, I had it set up just right, and then as I'd been in it for a couple of hours, it must have slipped down the tree a little bit, and I think my backside was resting on the ground for the last hour or so, which probably wasn't helping the lack of warmth. Yeah, I think I'm more a tarp and sleeping bag on the ground type of guy. But anyway, it's all good fun. So hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I'm glad I did choose to stay out yesterday instead of sacking it when I did, because it's just another night out, isn't it? So as I always say, until the next time, ride often, ride safe. See you soon.